His boot rises and comes down like a falling anvil. And then I wake up screaming. Yes, these images had become a nightly occurrence after what we went through. I couldn't shake them, and although they've lessened in frequency, I don't think I ever will. For 3 days, we stayed in Woodhaven, and like I said, we moved on at first light, traveling for the better part of a day before seeking shelter in another small town called Talmadge Falls. Unlike Woodhaven, though, this place was deserted, as far as we knew, at least. No survivors, no crazies, and no wraiths. Just snow, a sea of white as far as the eye could see, broken up by trees whose trunks were mostly buried. We wouldn't have stopped there if not for Elle. I was driving the snowmobile. She was riding passenger next to our measly possessions. Lots of off bug spray, lighters, and a few flashlights. And Mikey's body lay on her lap. He was still wrapped in the sheet. Elle held him, clutching her little brother to her chest. She spoke no words for the duration of our journey, but sobbed softly to herself every so often. Stone drove the other snowmobile, following closely behind Elle and I. Mia and Chewie were his passengers, along with the rest of our possessions. These consisted of spare coats, blankets, socks, shoes, and what was left of the food we took from the gas station near Avery's Mills. We were coming upon a town when Elle whispered. I barely heard her over the sled's droning engine and the constant battering of the wind. I glanced her way, saw she was pointing out of the cracked windshield to the right, and I turned my eyes in that direction. Here I noticed something besides the distant treetops. Flashes of brilliant white stood out between the woods, and above, a towering spire stretched into the sky, a beacon against the backdrop of gray and black. What is it? I asked. A church, Eleanor answered. I think. It's pretty. It's more than that. It's the place. I can feel that there's something about it. I had no clue of what Elle was talking about. Yeah, the idea of pulling over and making sure she was okay crossed my mind, but I didn't. After what we'd experienced in Bob's basement, combined with the loss of her brother, you had to think she was close to losing her sanity entirely. I know I was. But like I've said before, Elle's stronger than most. We have to go there, she said. Her eyes burned with a seriousness I hadn't seen since before Woodhaven. That's the place I want to leave Mikey. The place I want him to rest. I asked no more questions, and I steered through the sea of white toward the spire. And as we gained on the church, I knew Elle was right. There was something about it. Talmadge Falls reminded me of Woodhaven in a lot of ways. Small, surrounded by empty farmland and forest, and deserted. In the heart of the city there was a town circle instead of a square. The circle was a large roundabout with 8 exits, branching off in every direction, but in the middle was a park. Tall trees were planted around the outside, a way of deterring drunk drivers from jumping the curb and plowing through the grass. Of course, snow covered most everything around here, another thing the two towns had in common, so I allowed my imagination to fill in the blanks of what was under the layers of white. Park benches, walkways leading to the few buildings in the circle, trash cans, and maybe some memorial plaques dedicated to the town's bigwig donors. Fast food places, gas stations, and drugstores surrounded the outskirts of the roundabout, but they were pristine in comparison to the shabby businesses and the creepy motel we saw around the town square in Woodhaven. Even if there was a creepy motel, I don't think it would have brought down the circle's centerpiece, that church. As we got closer to it, I realized how dated it was. In fact, some may have called it beyond dated. Ancient was a better descriptor. The politer term, I believe, is historical. Still, despite its age and various points of disrepair, the church was beautiful, maybe even more beautiful surrounded by all that snow, where it shined.